welcome to Loch Briar Knits. I'm Kelly, your hostess. I'm still getting situated in my chair. This is a podcast about knitting mostly and hand dyeing of yarns and whatever other crafty stuff comes up from time to time, but mostly knitting and hand dyeing of yarns. So this is episode 12. And last time I checked, which I think was yesterday, we were almost at 100 subscribers. So given the milestone that's upcoming, I'm going to come up with a giveaway just to celebrate. And I'll let you guys know what that is for the next podcast. I'm going to put my thinking cap on and see if I can come up with something good. And so welcome to all you subscribers. There's in the past couple of weeks there have been quite a few new subscribers, so welcome. And to all you returning viewers and first-time viewers, welcome. Happy to have you back. Happy to have you here for the first time. I hope you enjoy the time that we have. And just to start off, actually before I forget, I'm going to put a little, where you can find me is going to be down below in the doobly-doo, and I'm also going to put a little screenshot up at the beginning and the end of the podcast, just so you know where to find me. I'm most active on Instagram, where you can find me at Kelly L. Boyce, and, but I also have a Facebook page, Etsy shop, and Ravelry page. For this podcast, which you can check out, and I keep all my show notes there, and that's called, all three of those are called Loch Briar Knits. I think that's kind of it. Facebook, Etsy, Ravelry, I think that's it. So this podcast, if you're a new viewer, is going to be a little different, and if you're a returning viewer, you're definitely going to know it's different, because what I did is I went on vacation to PEI, Prince Edward Island, and I'm located in Nova Scotia for any new viewers. Nova Scotia, Canada, I'm probably about maybe a 5-minute drive to the ocean. And I live here with my husband and my golden retriever, who just got back from the kennel and is alternating between running around like a madman and then just flopping out because he's exhausted from a week of running around with all the other dogs. So last week we were in PEI. We just got back today. So what I did was I did a podcast almost every day that I was there. I think probably 4 days. I tried to do it every day, but sometimes there just wasn't enough time, or we were out doing things, so there wasn't really any knitting content to talk about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand you over to Kelly of last week, and then I'm going to catch up with you at the end to kind of give you a wrap up of everything that I got done. Hi all, it's Kelly from Loch Briar Knits, coming to you from Thunder Bay Cove, Prince Edward Island, which is not my usual podcasting place. As you can see, we're on vacation, so I thought since my podcast usually gets done this coming Saturday, what I would do would be try to get a daily shot in each day, and then I'll put it all together, and it will be like a bit of a travel log of what I did, because I did bring plenty of knitting to do with me, so I'm sure there's going to be plenty of content. This isn't even all of it. There's more. There's more. So if you're a new viewer, then this is not the usual format, clearly. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. It's great to have you guys check in every couple of weeks and see what I'm up to. And I'm just going to jump in because I have about 20 minutes where the boys have gone, and I have some time alone where I can actually concentrate on what I'm doing and not feel really weird because there's other people in the house. So, sorry, I keep looking out to see have they come back yet. One thing I will note, there is a huge sliding door window here. That's the only light. So it's going to probably shift a little because the sun keeps coming in and out. So anyway, that's where we're at with the lighting. Rustic accommodations for podcasting. So I'm just going to jump right into it. I've brought a ton of stuff that I want to try to get done this week. And number one on, well, not really number one on the list, but one of the things is, oops, I just shot myself out of focus. Woo! And it's not coming back. There. One of the things in my Lumberjack Beaver bag from Longview Creations is my Girl from the Grocery Store shawl, which is taking shape. Hang on, I'm going to try to do this in a way. There. So it's really, and I don't, there's a stitch marker on here. There we are. So this is what I've done. Here he is. This is kind of how far I've gotten since the last episode. So I have been working on this pretty diligently. And, oops. So I'm using, because, you know, it's not super warm yet. So I'm using Lichen Lace as my main color. Sorry, I'm going to scooch forward so you can kind of see this a little better. So this is the Lichen Lace right here, and this is Alpaca from Dewdrops, and it's just kind of like a purpley color, which matches the purple in the Lichen Lace Wildflower colorway. So this I have been working on since we arrived, and I feel like I'm making some good progress on it. My goal is to get this done before I leave. So, chop chop. The other thing I have done, I think if you watched the last episode, then you're aware of my sock debacle, where the socks have forsaken me. I found the pattern that I had used on the first sock. It was from the Very Pink Knits, her online tutorial on magic loop sock knitting. So I went back to that, and I've got the sock done. These are my Canada Day socks from my own yarn. Where's my camera? Because the lighting, again, it's not super great, but bear with me. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to follow along the Very Pink Knits tutorial like I did with the first sock, and see if we can't get through it without things being horribly messed up. So I have brought all 4 pairs of the socks that I have on the needles, which are the Canada Day socks, and I've kind of shoved 2 in a bag just to cut down on what I'm carrying with me. The Lavender Fields sock, this is the first sock that's already done. And I'm in the same place on that sock as I am on the Canada Day sock. So those 2 I definitely want to have done before I leave. And then, I'm here for a week. And there are some rainy days, apparently, from the weather report. So this is the first sock on my Forest and Sky sock. This colorway is in my shop, Loch Briar Knits. You know, I don't even know if I did like a proper intro. I just kind of dove right in, didn't I? So for anybody watching, this is episode 12. So welcome to episode 12. I may actually film a little intro to go in front of all of this stuff when I get home, because this is going to be a quick flyby night kind of thing while we're here when I get some time alone. So this is my hyper color, my hyper shirt sock forget what I was calling it. I think I was calling it my hyper sock. And again, not even in the PEI light does the green show up very well. So I feel like I'm far away from the camera. There we go. Anyways, so these, I've got the heel done on the old heel. I'm gonna leave that in and then follow from the Very Pink Knits tutorial from there. And I think that'll be okay. If not, I'll just back it up to before the sock and start again. So that's the socks that I want to have done. So I did finish, I have a faux and I don't have it with me, but I finished the Orchid Sockhead hat that I was doing. And so to have some car knitting, I decided to cast on another Sockhead hat, and I kind of modify the pattern a bit to sort of suit the way I like my hats to be. I don't like a cuff on my hat. I do apparently like tangling my yarn. I like it just the ribbing and then going right into the hat. So this yarn is from Handmaiden. There we go. You can kind of see, I'll get my face out of the way and see if it focuses a little better. But it's these gorgeous deep reds. It's got some, I don't know, it's almost like a soft moss or avocado green. And then it's got these lovely gold through it. So this is, and I'll show you guys these things. I'll do a little quick film when I get home, which sort of shows these in better light. But I have the cuff done. I may go, or the cuff. I keep calling this the cuff. The brim. I have the brim done. And I'm going to, I don't know, I may go a little more, maybe half an inch. I like me a good brim. And then I'll just start. But this is this was my car knitting on the way up. It was pouring rain the entire way. And I don't like long car drives to start with. I really don't like them in bad weather. So I was kind of glad to arrive, but we were all sort of worn out, I think, by the time we got here, because we had to drive a bit slower in a lot of parts because there was so much rain and water. So much rain coming down, so much water on the road that it was kind of hard to grip. So that is what, oh, and I have my sweater. Hang on. Hang on, reaching, and back. So, I went to my local yarn store, The Loop, and I had Mimi show me how to do the short rows on my sweater. And, of course, once she explained it, it made perfect sense. So, I've gotten to the point where I think my short rows are done, and I just go into the next section. So everything worked out fine. I have the proper number of stitches in the places where I'm supposed to. This is really, I mean, it's all I've gotten done, but it's better than the 2 rows that I had. So that's where I'm at on that. And that is the, oh, I thought I forgot the pattern. This is the Daydream sweater by Heidi Kiermar. So I want to get some more done on that while I'm here. And in the event that all of the stars align and I get a couple of the socks done, I'm going to cast on a new pair. So I brought some extra yarn. Now most of this is my yarn, I think. No, sorry, half of it is my yarn. This was just a kind of a spearmint, which I know, green, I don't know. My camera hates green, but this is like a spearmint color. Sorry, I keep looking. People are driving by. I'm just distracted. And it's got flecks of black in it. So I brought that along because I thought I might This is in my BFL base. I've got to start on my Christmas knitting, and I thought I would do my sister-in-law a pair of socks. And I think she likes green, if I recall. I don't know. She can be a little hard to please sometimes. I brought my lemon tea with me, by the way. So, new mug, same tea. Anyway, yum. So I think I'm gonna cast that, and I'll make her a pair of socks out of this. This is my skein, to be named later. Seriously, look how messy that cake is. I was like winding really, really fast, and I think I had it a little off balance. It looks much better from this end. So it's got all these great flecks of like purple and yellow and blue, and I think there's some green. There's green in there. So this is my skein to be named later, and I think there may be 2 of these in the shop. And oh, sorry, I keep looking. I'm like shiny. So that I don't know who I'm gonna make those for. I don't know. But these ones I think I'll do for my sister-in-law. Then I also got these, which is the Evie Knits. I kicked that up also. Can you tell how fast I was caking these? Because they're really messy. I think when I do these, I'm going to pull it from the outside, the yarn, because otherwise it could be imploding. But this is Evie Knits. She's out of Ottawa or Oshawa, Ontario. I can't remember now. But this is self-striping. So I think I'm going to make these. I may make these for my brother or my dad. I'm not sure which, but one of them. And then this one is my fiber for the people, and it is the, sorry, let's see. This is the, it's the 80/20 merino base, fiber for the people, and it's the Purple People Eater colorway. So I may make these for my sister. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Let me get that back in there so I can remember. But these are on the 80/20 softwash, superwash merino, and I can't get it in. And nylon, the tailor's favorite base. So that is the yarn that I brought with me. If I finish socks, which I think I can, because I just have to get past that hump where I was having the issue with shaping it into the gusset and getting things going in the right direction. So I've got these literally jammed in here in my trailer bag, also from Longview Creations. And I think that's it. I think that's everything. Sweater, shawl, 4 pairs of socks, and the hat. So I'm going to be doing a lot of knitting. And I also, though, I'm going to reach here. I did bring some reading material as well. So I'm reading this one right now, Firefly Lane, by Kristen Hanna. I've never read any of her books before, but I picked up 2 because I've been hearing really good things about them. And there was this one, and the other one is The Nightingale. So this one I'm reading right now. It's pretty good. Kristen Higgins, because I don't go on vacation without a Kristen Higgins book. I love her. And this is her new one, On Second Thought. And Leanne Moriarty, which I love her books. I've only read, I say I love them. I've read 1. I have 3 more of hers to read. What Alice Forgot, this one, and Truly Madly Guilty, I think is the other one I So I think this is the one they made the, yeah, it is. This is the one that they've got a mini-series. And I want to read it before I watch the, is it HBO? Yeah, HBO. So I want to read this first before I watch it on HBO because I prefer to read the book first and then watch the TV show or movie or whatever. Because if I watch the movie or TV show first, I won't read the book because it somehow ruins it for me. But I can go the other way around without it ruining it for me. So I don't know. Anyway, so that is day one of the vacation. I suppose technically yesterday was day one, but that was a travel day, so I don't really count that. This is like the first full day. And so yeah. So this is what we're doing. I'm gonna check in every day. Usually my husband and stepson will go out for a bike ride or they'll walk down to the beach, and that kind of gives me about 20 minutes where I can just set things up and roll. So it's just going to be short little segments, and then I'll tie it all together, hopefully, into something somewhat coherent, and then have it up on my usual day Sunday. So until then, I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hi all. Day 2 in PEI in Thunder Cove Beach. I think I said Thunder Bay Cove yesterday, so I was way off. Sorry. I don't know where I am. Geographically ignorant. So I don't have a whole lot of content to show you today because what did we do today? We went out to the dairy bar at around 11:30 and got ice cream. And then not too far from there, like literally, I don't know, 100 feet down the road is the Trailside Yarn Shop. So I decided to pop in there because I had to get a skein of my yarn wound into a cake because I forgot to do that before I left, and I need it for the Grocery Girl shawl. So I popped in there and I thought, you know, I like when I go away I like to buy yarn when I go away as opposed to when I'm at home. So I thought I'll see what they have. And what they had was some things that I haven't been able to find in Halifax, where I'm from. So we have a little acquisition section today. I found some of the Arnie and Carlos Pairfect. Yeah, Pairfect. Anyway. Socks. So I got 2 balls. I've been wanting to try these ones out, and I haven't been able to find them in Halifax. I don't know why. Like, anyway, so they don't actually have colorways, but the orange ones, there you go. That'll work. So that's the orange pair, actually orange and gray, I guess. And then these ones, oops, there we go. So that's the second pair. So I think what I'm going to do, I was going to use the kind of spearmint green color yarn I showed you yesterday for my sister-in-law, but I may do a pair of these instead. So we'll see. I may do that. But I also got, check this out. And I don't know if the color's going to show very well. It's from Zen Garden, which I guess the base yarn is from Italy. It's milled in Italy and it's hand dyed in Canada. I'm not sure where, but and see if I can get some light. I don't know if the light's gonna, if I put it over this way. I don't know. The light here because I'm working with a wonky window. There we go. It's sort of got like rusty orange and blues, and then there's some kind of mossy greens on this side and some browns through it. Like there's some, right in there. It's kind of a goldy light brown. So this is called Sandbox. Serenity 20. It's 70 superwash merino, 20% cashmere, and 10% nylon. So this is going to be really nice. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I expect it's going to be a pair of socks, but who knows. So that was that. And then, because we're going on our trip to Edinburgh, I keep saying Edinburgh. We're doing that the first week in October. And I really want to take some knitting on the plane because I despise flying, and if I can have something that sort of calms my nerves and also takes my mind off the fact that I'm in a large steel tube of death, that's awesome. So I've noticed, I think I'm getting, each day that goes by, I'm getting more and more vacation hair, where it's just my hair decides it's going on vacation too and it's going to do what it wants. Anyway, so for knitting on the plane, I have to call and find out what needle-wise I'm allowed to take, but I figured, and there's going to be some crackling here, sorry, they had some of the wires, or cables rather, and the detachable things. The smallest needles, ends, I don't know. The smallest size I could get was 3 millimeter. No, sorry. Yeah, 3 millimeter. So I usually do, which is a US 2.5. I usually do my socks on a size 1. So I may go online and see if I can get something smaller, but I'm going to call first and find out what I can take and what I can't take on it. And I got a 40-inch circ because I thought that'd be good for doing socks or a shawl or whatever I decide to take on, just to kind of keep my mind off it. But, crackling, I also picked up 32-inch circs in size 1.5. Yeah, size US 1.5, which is 2.5 millimeter. And I did a 16-inch in size 3, which is 3.25, which is what I was doing the hats in, I think. So these are the wooden needles, so I might be okay with these. I'm not sure, but again, I've got to call the airline and just find out what I can take and what I can't take. So that was what we did today, and then we kind of drove into Charlottetown, which is probably, I'd say, the main city of PEI, and we just kind of walked around and, you know, didn't really do too much. Went into a few shops. You know, it's kind of usually the same old that's there every year, so it wasn't really anything new. I think it was just a good way to kill some time for an afternoon. And then we came, on the way back, we stopped at Mary's Bake Shop, and my husband and stepson got, I think they got a lemon meringue pie. I don't like meringue pie. I like blueberry, apple, that kind of pie. But I usually steer clear of gluten anyway, so pie wasn't really on my list of things to buy. And after I finish podcasting, I am going to get some Toblerone chocolate that I bought yesterday, and my knitting, and a glass of wine. And I'm going to go sit on the deck because it's a beautiful sunny day here today, and it's nice and warm, and there's a nice breeze to keep things from getting too overheated. So the only actual knitting I've done is on my Girl from the Grocery Store. I did a little car knitting on the hat yesterday, but I think I only got like that much done. So, but I marked where I left off on the Girl from the Grocery Store shawl yesterday. Let's see if I can find it here, which is, sorry, wrong side. I'm going to scooch forward here a bit. So this is where I was yesterday. So this is what I've knit since yesterday. So I feel like I'm making really good progress on this. Oh my god, all the ends. I'm gonna have nightmares about this. So I think I can have this finished before I go home. And I have to do something called an elastic bind off, which I have no idea what that is. So I may have to YouTube it. And one of the other things I planned on doing while I was here was catching up on watching all the podcasts that I haven't had time to watch last week because I was so busy at work. And the signal here is kind of wonky, so it's like you get 10 seconds and then the little thing spins, and then 10 seconds and the little thing spins, so I may be on the Saturday afternoon when we get home, that Saturday and Sunday, like going crazy trying to catch up because there's a lot to catch up on. So I think that's pretty much all I have been doing today. So I am going to go work on this some more. And I think tomorrow the guys are going to go play some golf. And that leaves me, the place to myself, with nothing to do, nobody to say, hey, do you want to do this, do you want to do that, to distract me. And I am going to get a good chunk of this done. But actually, what I might do before I start working on this tomorrow is try to figure out the sock using the Very Pinks tutorial and get that going, because once I can get that to the gusset shaping, I can just power on through. And then I can take that in the car and do car knitting if we're driving anywhere or going anywhere, instead of the hat, and save the hat for when we're making the long drive back, which I'm not looking forward to. It's supposed to rain that day too, so yay, more rain driving. So that's about it. So I'm gonna go get my wine and my chocolate and my bag of knitting, and I will see you guys tomorrow for day 3. See ya. Hi y'all, back for day 4. Day 3 was mostly knitting, and I didn't have a chance to podcast because what did we do yesterday? I don't even remember what we did. I did a lot of knitting. It was kind of just a relaxed, easy day, and then we went out to supper. And but there was people around all the time, and I almost didn't get to podcast today. The guys were supposed to go play golf, and then when they got to the golf course, there was thunder, so they had to cancel and reschedule for tomorrow, and they came back home just as I was about to podcast. But the weather has turned semi-nice again. The sun has started to come out, so they've decided to go down for a walk on the beach, which means I've got a few minutes to podcast, and I'm going to get right down to it. So, not wine today yet. There will be wine. For now, peppermint tea. It is about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which in my book is perfect for wine time, but I felt like some tea first. So, the good news is today, this morning, while I thought the guys were going to golf, I started working on my sock. Now, as you recall from my last podcast, I had an issue when I did the heel flap, and then the shaping when I got to the part to shape the gusset. The working yarn was over here, and I couldn't figure out what I did. I did something backwards, blah, 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 blah. It was a whole thing, which totally brought the brakes slamming down hard on all of the socks, the 4 pairs of socks that I was knitting, because I had gotten right to the part where I had to do the heel on them. So I had to figure out what my problem was, and I'm still not entirely sure what I did, but what I think happened was I might have knitted an extra row and somehow turned myself around. That's the only thing I can figure out, and honestly, beyond that, I have no clue. But I went back to the original tutorial I did, which was Very Pink Knits, magic loop sock knitting, and I followed along with her instructions, and then everything worked out fine. Look, I have a heel. I have the gusset shaped, and now I am just going down the instep, and my goal is to finish these hopefully today. So and then once I do that, tomorrow I'm going to work on my other second sock for my lavender field socks, and I'm going to try to get those done before we leave. We're on day, what's today? Wednesday? Saturday, Sunday, Monday, maybe it's only Tuesday. I have no idea. Vacation's about half over, so I gotta pick up the pace. So that's what I did today. What I did yesterday was the girl from the grocery store shawl. So I made a ton of progress on this, and if I can get the bag opened, you may see it. Okay, so here we are. I'm on the border part now, so I'm trying to do this without actually knocking anything off the needles. So yesterday I was here. I was here. So this is how much I've knitted since yesterday. And you know what? I was originally kind of iffy about the colors I chose, because I wondered if the colors here, as much as I love them, I worried they might be a little too busy and that the contrasting color really wasn't, poke myself in the eye with the needle, really wasn't going to show up as much. But now that I'm seeing it on the camera, I'm like, no, I do like that. So especially now where this is starting to kind of become almost more of the main color for the border section, it really kind of brings out the purple stripes. So I'm gonna stand back a little bit and see if I can't. God, I don't know how far back I have to go. Hang on. I don't have that much room. Okay, so here's the size so far. So, pre-block. So you know. I'm liking this. I am really liking it. I like the shape of it. I'm liking the colors. It's an easy TV watching, Netflix binge and knit. We don't have Netflix at the cottage, by the way, so that's a bit of a tragedy. So we've been watching mostly the murder channel, as I call it, investigative discovery. I just call it the murder channel because everybody gets murdered on there, so, you know, pretty much. There's some other ones, but that's my grocery girl knit. So I really don't have that much left to do, so I can definitely finish this before I go. I'm sure of it. Yeah, definitely can finish this before I go, or before I get home, leave to go home, whatever. So that is what I've been working on. I haven't touched this yet today because I'm going to finish the sock today, and then when I finish the sock, if I have time, I'll jump back onto this. And I don't know if I will have time because we're going to go to a movie, an sort of early movie. It's 4:20, so it's not a matinee, but not the early show. I don't know what you call that. So anyway, we're going to go see The Dark Tower because I got to pick the movie, and that's what I want to see. So, yay! I think that was that was probably compensation for the guys coming home too early after me thinking I had half a day to myself, because as much as I love my family, I spent about 15 years living alone, and I loved it. So going from just me and the dog to suddenly my husband and a stepson and a bigger dog. My dog passed away 6 months before my husband and I got together, which is he is convinced if my dog hadn't passed away that we would not have gotten together. So suddenly I've gone from me and my dog to a house full of people, and I like my alone time, so it's good to kind of get half a day, a full day here and there that I can just have some space to myself. And I know my husband usually feels bad if that's the plan and then something goes awry, because I'm usually more fit to be around other people if I get my alone time first. So they've gone out for a walk, and I get to pick the movie of my choice. So that's not too bad. They're going to go golfing actually tomorrow morning. They just rescheduled it, so that's good. And I am going to hang out here on the deck and knit. So until then, I will check in with you guys tomorrow for day 5? I think this is day 4. Day 5. See you later. Hi y'all, it is day 5 of my vacation, and I don't have a lot to tell you today, except I do have a faux. Ba-da-da-da! That's right, finally finished the Canada Day socks, which means I have to take a picture of them now and post them in the Grocery Girls Canada Day make-along. So I did, as you'll have seen in the previous clip, I did drop a stitch. Now I can't even find it. Look how well I seamed that in. Actually, no, there it is. I dropped it, and I was kind of too far gone at that point to really, well, I mean, I could have frogged it back. That wasn't happening. Because it just wasn't happening. Because they're for me, so whatever. So, let's see. I don't know, the lighting's not the greatest in here. But, let's see if I can do it. It's basically right there. I'll stretch it out and you can maybe see it. There, turn towards the light. So yeah, I dropped a stitch, and at that point I was kind of like up to around here, and I was like, you know, I just stuck a stitch marker holder thing in it and moved on. And then I just kind of grafted it into the rest of the sock. Because that's how I do things sometimes. What the hell? And you know what? I just realized. Look at the toes. I really should look at one sock when I'm finishing the other. I did kind of a pointed toe on the first one, and then on the other one I did a straight toe there. I actually like this one better. So, you know, for future reference, I think I had 8 stitches left on this one when I did the toe, and I had 12 on this one. So yeah, I definitely like how that one looks better. But I don't know if it's really gonna make that much of a difference when I put them on. There we go. Yeah, maybe. But I don't think a whole lot of people are looking at my toes. So, que sera. So that's my Canada Day socks. And it's kind of chilly out today and super windy. So the guys are probably having a lot of fun trying to play golf in this. But it's probably a good day for nice warm socks. I'm going to take them off anyway because I don't block my socks. I mean, I'll put them on the sock blockers, but I don't wet them down and block them. Or I haven't so far. Should I really be doing that? I mean, if it's for me, do I really need to? I can just wear them. I can just wear them. Maybe when I'm doing them for gifts, I'll do that. But I have, it's a very messy cake, but I have a lot of yarn left over. So, I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I'm kind of thinking of making like, I know there's like the cozy memory blankets and there's the granny crochet blanket thing. I don't crochet. But I'm starting to kind of get a collection of yarns that I'm like, what am I going to do with them? Because there's a fair bit. I could probably make some short socks out of this. Or, you know, I could probably do like kid socks out of this and then maybe send them to like a shelter or something. That's an idea. Or I could do like scrappy scarves. Kind of maybe do 2 strands together and do a bit of a scrappy scarf. Because I have been doing a scarf project called The Next Door Down. The Next House Down. But where you kind of take 3 strands of yarn and you make a long warm scarf, and then they distribute them to the homeless. So I have been working on that, so maybe I can kind of add these to that stash. That's an idea. Anyway, so that is really the only thing. I literally finished that about an hour ago because we were going to go to a movie yesterday, and then we just got lazy. So we ended up not. So we're going to go today. That's the plan, unless we get super lazy again. And what did we do yesterday? We just kind of hung out and relaxed, and we went to, it was kind of raining. It would rain and then get sunny. Rain, get sunny. Rain, get sunny. So it was kind of hard to plan anything. So I think what I'm going to do today is, this was, and I don't know if this is going to show up very well because of the lighting, but this was the heel that I did from the Unapologetic Knitter pattern. Because I like to mix up my socks apparently. This is the one that I do normally, which is on the Canada Day socks. I actually really like how this one looks. And I was thinking about kind of clawing it back and matching this one. But I want to see if, because I'm still trying to figure out what my issue was with the socks that I had where I was getting turned around and had the working yarn on the wrong side. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to keep this sock, oops, I'm all twisted here, as it is, and kind of go forward from here and then try to see if I can figure out where things got turned around, or if they even do get turned around when I'm doing this. So I'm just gonna keep this heel, and I do really like. There, you can sort of see I do really like the way that heel looks. So it's kind of fancy. So I'm going to try that, and I'm going to work on that today, but I'm also going to work on the Girl from the Grocery Store shawl, because I'm going to finish that before I leave, and we only have really today and tomorrow left. So I think I can do it. But this is what I have left, and I really don't have, I just have like the foot part of the second sock left to do. So I'm going to have a lot of this left too. So I don't know, you know what? I could probably, I might have enough left over for like a beanie or something. I don't know. It's a lot. There's a lot of yarn left. So that's on tap for today. I also, because we went out to dinner yesterday, just to the pub, I did a little car knitting. So I haven't made a whole lot of progress on this because I've sort of been holding off because I want to do it on the drive home to distract myself from how friggin' long it takes. But I have to say, this may be one of my favorite yarns. The gold isn't really showing up on here, but it's basically kind of red and gold, and it's beautiful, and it's kind of doing its own stripe action here. I'm gonna find there. I don't know if that shows up, but you can kind of see it's doing its own stripe action. But it's this beautiful, it's the Handmaiden from their Cashbah line. I don't know if oh, actually, maybe I did throw it in here. But it's really one of my absolute favorites. So what else do I have in here? I have my glasses in here, if I'm ever looking for those. I have reading glasses literally stashed in the weirdest places. I keep a few pairs at the office because my boss is constantly forgetting his, so in retaliation, I give him the most girly pair I have to wear because he always hits me up. So here is, and this one doesn't have a color name on it, but that's the thing. So it's 81% merino, 9% cashmere, and 10% nylon. But this is one of my absolute favorite yarns. Not just the colorway, although this colorway is probably one of my favorites. And I'd love to get some more of it. And I don't know if they even still do it. I'll have to look, because I actually bought this probably 2 years ago maybe, and then kind of caked it, and it landed in my stash, and then it was just one of those ones I was going through going, oh my god, I forgot I had this. But I would love to get some more of it, and I don't know what I'd make out of it, but I'd make something because I love it. I love it. So I did make a little progress, because I think I was like just at the cuff here. So I did a little bit, but for the most part, I'm saving this for the drive home. So this is gonna kind of been strictly car knitting. So that is it. But I figure, since I got some time to myself, I might take a mosey down to the beach, walk around a little bit, and show you guys what this place looks like. So stay tuned for that. And until then, I'll see you for, I think I'll have time to do, will I have time to do a podcast tomorrow? I may have time to do a podcast tomorrow. And I think tomorrow, though, we're looking at going to the Rise and Climb, so maybe not. This may be the last one. But if not, I'll probably do a quick update when I get home on Saturday and then get this uploaded. So I'm going to go get a sweater on because it's chilly and windy, and it's probably going to be even more so down at the water. And we're going to go for a stroll. Okay, so it's windy, so I don't know how well the vocals on this will be, or the sound, but we're going to give it a shot. So I'm going to take you guys on a stroll down to the beach. So here we are. I don't know if you can hear me over the wind and the water. I'm guessing it's cold. I'm betting it's cold. Let's check it out. Looking a little dark and drizzly. I had a feeling that was going to happen. Almost home. Going the short way on the main road. Should be home shortly. That's it. That's the spin around the block. Welcome back to Kelly of the Present. So, as you've seen from my past daily little inserts, I had planned on having the grocery girl, the girl from the grocery store, Shawl, completed. And I am like this far away. I was knitting on the car on the drive home, which is like a 3-hour drive. But I had to stop because I've been knitting on it so much that like my thumb here, where I've been like, you know, kind of holding it like that as I'm holding things in place, is so sore. It was just like, it got to the point where it just started cramping, and I was like, all right, I'm tapping out. But I am so close. So I am going to show you how much. And I don't, okay, Okay, I am going to try to stand up and give you a quick, I don't know if this will work. I don't know if I have enough room. But here is the front. Is this the front? This is the front. So here is where let's see, what's the best way? I really hope those stitches don't fall off. So this is probably the best way to do it. So here's where I am so close to being done. Like really, I probably have that much left. I just have to finish 10 rows, and then I have to put, I think, one more line here in, and then I think it's like 2 rows after that. Sorry, I'm probably cutting my head off. I look very distorted at this angle. So anyway, this is how it looks so far. And I gotta say, I love it. I love like how it drapes. Now, of course, it's gonna look different when it's blocked. And I will say, I'm gonna sit down now. When I was in the car, and I'm not going to expect, yeah, you can see the first large purple section, these kind of line up properly, I think, for the most part, but the second section, they don't, you know, like, I don't know if you can really see my hand. There's, this one is kind of here, but then this one is over here. I'm not entirely sure what I did. And I thought, should I take it back and see if I can figure it out? And then I thought, nope. And you know why? Because it's going to be wrapped around my neck and nobody's going to notice. So, you know, pick your battles, right? So I'm going to finish this probably tomorrow. That's the plan. I really want to finish that tomorrow. But I had a sale going on my shop while I was in PEI, where you could get for 25% off if you spent $40, minimum of $40 US. So I've got, and then there's also the Grocery Girls, announced the Grocery Girls coupon that I had given. I donated a prize for their Canada Day make-along, and with it, anybody there could get watching that podcast. So I've got a batch of orders that I've got to get pulled together. I've got to get those done. I've got the yarn that I dyed for the upcoming shop update that I have to get skeined up. And then I have to start planning what else I need to do for the update. And I'm also planning on doing another sale, kind of an end of summer sale, just to hopefully clear out some stock before I do the kind of fall Christmas update. So, that being said, whether or not I can actually get some time to sit down and knit tomorrow, I'm not sure, but I'm going to try. By the next podcast, that's going to be a finished object, ends woven in, soaked and blocked. It's going to be ready to go. That's my plan. So when I left for vacation, I had all these like lofty plans. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get this done. And clearly, I, in my mind, knit faster than I actually do. But I do have finished objects. So I've already shown you guys this earlier from Kelly of Vacation Past. These are my socks, my Canada Day socks, which I have to put in the Grocery Girls Canada Day make-along. I gotta remember to do that. So those are, I finished. This I finished before I left. This was my Sockhead Hat. I'm gonna try this on. And look, see what I did? I somehow managed, I have a little stitch marker in here, and I somehow managed to like knit it in. So I've just got to pull it apart, get my scissors out. I haven't woven in my ends yet. So, but that's my Sockhead hat. I love knitting these. These are like such a good on-the-go knit to have like just a stash in your bag. And because I was having the issue with the socks that I hadn't figured out yet, I needed something to stash in my bag for, you know, knit on the go. So that was it. So that's my finished object. Another finished object. Two finished objects. A almost finished object in the shawl. And this is my other Sockhead hat that I was knitting on, which I showed. So I did a little of that in the car before I switched over to the shawl. And that's using the Handmaiden Cashbah yarn, which I just love. It's so soft. It's so soft. So that's, I'd say that's half done. So that's my hoe. So I have two faux, an almost faux, and a hoe. And that was my output for the week. And I feel like I accomplished things, even if I didn't get, you know, if I didn't meet all the lofty goals that I thought I was going to. Oops, sorry. So I think that is about it. So yeah, I think I've really got to get going on my update for the shop. I've got some busy weekends coming up. Next weekend, we're going to my parents' camp to celebrate my dad's birthday, which was actually my dad and my sister's birthday. But my sister and her family, me and my husband, and then my parents, and we camp out. We camp out at the camp. And then Monday, a good friend of mine is moving to London for a year, and I'm torn between missing her horribly and being very jealous. So she's moving in September, so 4 of us are going to get together and go out to dinner Monday night, just before she heads out for her year sojourn. And that's about it. I think that's everything that's going on. Watch the shop, which is, I'll put it down here, but it's lochbriarknits.etsy.com. I'm going to be reducing some of the stock in there, and I think I'm going to do a significant reduction on some of it, just to kind of clear some stuff out. And then I've got to order some more berry yarn in some of my bases and get started on the fall and Christmas, which I already did some stuff on. Now, this, of course, because it's my camera, which doesn't like green, this here is a really vibrant forest moss green, and then the bright reds. And that's on the yak yarn, which I left some of the yak yarn in its natural state. I love this yarn. I may keep this one for myself and then do some more up for the shop, but yak yarn is just so incredibly soft. So I did that, and I did a couple. I did some more of the Spring Explosion on the Stellina base, the gold Stellina base. And I'm going to do some tonals, semi-tonals, semi-solids. This is, I haven't gotten names for these things yet. And then this is on yak yarn as well, and that's kind of a nice indigo semi-solid. And again, so soft. But there's a bunch bunch more that's hanging over there yet that I don't have skeined up, so it's kind of hard to get a really good sense of what it's going to look like. But hopefully on the next update I will have some of the updated yarns. And I was originally thinking I was going to do the update the 1st of September, but I think that might be pushing it given that I'm not here next weekend. And I want to get it done before we go away to Edinburgh. So, which I just said correctly. Yeah, so I think that's it. So I'm going to let you guys go because by the time we get this all cobbled together, it's probably going to be pushing past the hour, which gets a bit long. So I'm going to let you go. So thank you to all the returning viewers and subscribers. If you want to know when the next podcast comes out, just hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all the new viewers. It's great to have you guys just check in and see what we're doing every couple weeks here. And if you like the episode, hit the thumbs up button. That really helps me spread the word. And keep your eye on the shop because we are going to have some sales going on, and hopefully you can enjoy some of the yarny goodness. So until next time, I will see you guys later. Happy knitting.